Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers, Chris McGee, Derek Fisher. Big game, James Worthy. We got Mike Bresnahan. Allie Clifton will be joining us later. Mike Trudell is out in Milwaukee. He will cover the post-game show. Lakers lose their first game of a 5-game road trip to the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks. Big night for Giannis. We'll get into that in a few moments. Lakers, who kept it close all night long and battled, guys, went 0 for 11 from 3 in the fourth and also missed their last 5 threes in the third. So 0 for 16 to end that game from 3. They were right there to win that one. Big game, James. Just didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Lakers played way better than they have been. Third quarter wasn't, repetitive like we seen the last time. They came out with a strong third. Kept it close. Most of the game, I think, maybe gave up some second possessions a little bit too much, but there was just too much Giannis and too much Middleton, pretty much. You're talking about a championship team that hadn't been playing great. They get all their players back. Fish talked about, how they don't need to recapture their continuity. They already had it, and they showed it tonight. It was a good game by both teams, I thought.
Yeah, good competitive game. I mean, so far this season, this would be a quality loss, right, based on what we've seen. Like, to go on the road, play against the defending champions with Giannis on the court, Chris Middleton on the court. Like, they fought, did a lot of really positive things. And then, of course, like, now you have some details and some things that you need to clean up, right? Finishing quarters, finishing halves. Teams make adjustments, right? Milwaukee went to the zone a little bit, disrupted the Lakers in the first half. The Lakers made adjustments at halftime, right? So we showed that shot chart. Giannis was 10 out of 11 at the rim.
Had their best third quarter of the year, I think.
Right, yeah. And they were putting 2 on the ball and pick and roll. Giannis rolling right down the middle, getting it back, going to finish. Second half, Lakers looked to switch that pick and roll a lot more. And I think that really cut into Milwaukee's production. But not being able to shoot the ball, 0 for 16 from 3 to finish that half, that's tough to recover.
Tough. Yeah, not much you can do about that. And you figure they make at least 2 or 3 of those, and this is a different game. Maybe we're in overtime right now. I'm okay with this game for a couple reasons. Does not have that feel of like the Minnesota game where they got crushed in that third quarter. Doesn't have the feel of the Chicago game where it seemed like they were down 15 the entire time. I thought the Lakers' third quarter was a good step in the right direction. And as far as a road trip, this is a good first game. The Milwaukee team we saw tonight, they welcomed Chris Middleton back. He's been out since October. They're starting to get their healthy guys in place. That could be the Lakers on Friday in Boston, James. Maybe LeBron's back. So maybe the Lakers, what we saw from Milwaukee tonight, that could be them in just 48 short hours.
Needed more paint presence, though, big game, James. And you look at that 0 for 16 stretch to end the half, the second half, 11 in the fourth, not enough presence in that paint, especially when that game was close.
Yeah, I mean, they
wasn't a lot of ball movement either.
Well, yeah, the ball movement wasn't as good. It was good at times when they got some shots that knocked them down. But, I think Milwaukee learned from the Lakers' previous games, like they weren't going to let, Anthony Davis do anything close to the bucket. And I don't think they got enough, cuts in the paint. They got a couple in there. I think Monk got one. So, yeah, when AD's not there, you're not getting the lobs to Dwight or DeAndre. You got to find other ways to penetrate that, and I don't think it was done tonight. They didn't do a good job of that.
When I look at AD's line and I see the 9 for 15 with 18 points, he had 8 in the first, he had 8 in the third, he had 0 in the second, only 2 in the fourth. I mean, who is it on, Fish, to get him more? What does it have? Does he need to be more aggressive? Does he need to attack more? Do the Lakers need to run more action to get him that ball lower where he can do some work and then that ball can kick around?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I don't think anybody on the team or roster doesn't want Anthony Davis to touch the basketball. Coaches and from the first player, down to the bottom. I think so from coaching staff, whether it's coming out of timeouts and different sets that they may have drawn up, but also on the floor. Players are on the floor to make plays, read and react to situations. And those are things that the Lakers will continue to learn about when they need a bucket. Where do we need to go? Who do we need to play through? But Anthony Davis is seeing a lot of traffic when he has the basketball.
Yep.
So the Lakers are going to have to find a way to make sure he's involved through continuity offensively. Nobody in the league is throwing the ball to somebody free throw line extended and below. and watching him post up and back down.
It's not
and then playing
1995
off
anymore?
it. That's not happening anymore. So it's not as simple as just come down and give it to AD. A lot of what we've seen
That's
from
why the
Anthony
spacing
Davis
has to
is,
be, right?
the spacing
Yeah.
is there, but a lot of the dominance of Anthony Davis in a Lakers uniform really came from elite defense.
Yeah.
And then AD was the first one down the floor. They're out in transition. He's getting offensive rebounds off drives and drop-offs from other people. The lob plays in terms of, guys going to the rim and finishing. So it's not as simple as come down and just throw it to AD. I think the Lakers will continue to need to lock in defensively, which in the second half they did tonight. 64 points by Milwaukee in the first half to finish with 109. That's a great defensive second half. But AD just, in terms of getting to the free throw line, I've never seen the Lakers not get to the free throw line as much as they have so far this year. 24 attempts for Milwaukee, 12 for the Lakers.
12 for the
That's
Lakers.
Unusual.
0 for AD. He should have had one. Giannis fouled him on that dunk, but wasn't called, but only one. He had 0.
And that
attempts.
helps get your defense set when you can get to the free throw line.
And AD normally does okay in this matchup tonight. The edge clearly to the Greek freak. I want to talk about Talen Horton-Tucker, guys. I want to go back to 2019, the draft. The Lakers bought into the second round, bought this pick from Orlando, 46th overall, gave up a couple million for this kid, took a gamble on him. It was more of a measurements thing. They saw him at Iowa State, and then they saw, he's got this 7-foot 1-inch wingspan. They saw he can hit some threes. Look what he's done in his first 3 games with his team since getting over that thumb injury. There was a lot of talk about Alex Caruso this past weekend, coming into Monday's game against Chicago. Laker fans kind of missing their fan favorite there. The Lakers made a choice during the offseason. They said, we're going to go with THT. We figure we're going to pay him the $10 million a year and not Caruso. THT has a pretty high ceiling, and we're starting to see what the Lakers front office was thinking. This guy not only looked good scoring, he's very comfortable shooting outside, which is unlike really his first 2 years in the league. I thought he's a hustle guy, too. There is diving for a loose ball in the last minute there, forcing a jump ball. I like what I see from this kid. This is something the Lakers can build on. They don't have a lot of youth. He'll be 21 on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Tucker's definitely a talented kid, and I'm glad to have him back. He's a unique player with the wingspan and all. But getting back to AD, I think they got to find some other ways to get him, into the paint. They had a couple plays. I don't know about a few weeks ago or so where they would set a down pick for him and he would curl into the paint really quickly. You got to make the defense work a little bit against him to free him up. I also think a lot of times he gets the pick and roll, and then he pops for the ISO. And it's just not a lot of action after that. There's nobody moving. So I think if they need to look at ways to get it easier for him, they might want to look at something like that. Setting a cross pick for him or something. Make him switch or get him coming off a curl or something to get him into the paint.
So if you follow the rest of the league, Milwaukee Bucks kind of go through what some teams go through right after they win a championship. Maybe a little bored to start, some injuries, Middleton, COVID, just returned tonight. No Brook Lopez. Giannis and the Bucks needing to wake up, losing 4 in a row at home, losing 2 in a row going into this game. So you had a feeling on that national stage. You just knew the Bucks would be ready, especially this guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, Finals MVP, 2-time MVP, absolutely unstoppable tonight. He had 47, 30 of those were in the paint.
Yeah.
And we know he only makes threes against the Lakers, right? At home. 3 for 4. He shoots 28, 27% against the rest of the world, but he was 3 for 4 from 3. He's also 8 of 11 from the free throw line, Fish. Giannis was something else.
Yeah, remember before the game we talked about, wanting to see AD come out and say, nah, I'm the baddest dude on the court tonight, and I'm going to send that message. Giannis sent that message back, right? Like, he intent to show that I am the best player on the floor. I don't care who we're playing against. Everybody's coming to see the Lakers. My cousin and friends and everybody is calling about tickets because the Lakers are coming to town. And I'm going to go out and show that, no, we're the defending champions. And there was an intensity that he played with tonight that it jumped out right from the tip. And he imposes will on the inside, and that's what makes him special.
There's something about winning that ring in that Finals MVP, too, because remember, he had won back-to-back MVPs, and he even said, like, I'm not LeBron yet. I almost like, of course, he wants the award, but, like, I haven't done it yet. So now that he has that, he plays like it. And like you said, the team had been in a slump, not playing well, lethargic, not on a night like tonight. He comes out and says, I'm the best player on the floor, and I'm going to show you.
No question. I mean, everything you said is absolutely true, Geeter. And, you know, when you win a championship, you know, the Bucks are on the map now. You know, he's not thinking about the one he won last year. He's thinking about what LeBron has done, what Steph Curry and those guys have done, and he's looking to make known that he wants to win one this year. I mean, he makes his presence known right away. I don't see him smile too much. He's serious as hell all the time. And when he attacks, I wish, you know, AD has his own style, but Giannis goes right away. And he goes with force and, you know, some physicality when he goes to the cup. And so he's a unique player. Not too many people can guard him. Like I said, he has a heart that says, I'm here and I'm going to dominate. He's dominating, Brad.
Yeah, he deserves a lot of credit, too, for staying with a small market team.
Yeah.
Any team in the NBA just a couple short years ago would have opened up whatever vault they needed to make sure they could sign this guy. He said, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to try to make this happen. He deserves a lot of credit for that. Geet, his Euro step down the lane is ridiculous. I feel like he covers 20 feet with like a step and a half. I haven't seen a player like that in a long time.
Because no one else can do that.
Exactly.
And absorb all kinds of contact.
It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, he's amazing.
And listen, he took a lot of grief. His last couple of years, he wasn't playing at the end of playoff games.
Yeah.
Everyone said he couldn't win. So he showed everything.
He worked on the shot. That really opened things up for him.
Yeah,
and he's not a three-point shooter unless he's playing the Lakers.
All right, let's go back to Milwaukee. AD is speaking with Mike in the media.
AD, it looked like you guys were in the zone for a lot of that third quarter. Just wondering how much you worked on it and what was the key to it that you felt that helped you get back into it.
For sure. Just a different look. You know, we're playing small, and so and our pick and roll coverages and switching some things, and they allow Giannis to get behind, and then he's going against Rondo or Wayne, and you know it's a height advantage and a disadvantage for us. So we switched to the zone and tried to keep everything in front, and you know it got us back in it. Got us out on a break. They scored a couple times, but hit some tough shots. But it looked good for us tonight.
Just wondered what it's been like for you playing almost exclusively now outside, and how that impacts things for you, especially on the defensive end, when you have to keep in mind and what you think is changed.
It's good for our spacing. It's good for Russ to get downhill. It's good to when I'm going down, when I'm rolling. We got our shooters around. You know, we missed a lot of timely shots. You know, especially the start of fourth. It was a back and forth defensive game, and then we, you know, Malik missed a couple. Bays missed two. Wayne missed two. Shots when you know we're up 1, up 2. That can put us up, you know, 4 or 5. And then they come down, make some tough shots. Chris hit 2 threes, and then it kind of just get them going. So, and it gets us down 6 now. So, you know, I think, you know, it's good when I'm at the 5. It gives us spacing, gives Russ a lot of spacing, you know, to get downhill. But then, you know, on the other side is just, you know, we switch out pick and roll, so I'm guarding on the perimeter. You know, the offensive rebounding has kind of been the problem because we got smaller guys. So, you know, when we get it'll look better when we, you know, have our bigger guards back, Bron, Trevor, and now, you know, we have size down on the glass. But, you know, guys are down there fighting, competing. And that's all we can ask for.
AD, Giannis, 30, 47, 23 from the field. How much of that was execution part? You guys have to think now.
Yeah, you know, I think he was 3 for 4 from 3 tonight. You know, we want him shooting that 3 ball. You know, he's gotten better at the mid-range and the turnarounds, but we want him shooting the 3, and everyone against the Lakers make their 3. So, I mean, you know, we know he's been working on it, but that's a shot that we're living with. And then, you know, like I said, it was most of the times where, you know, we switched, and just like the last couple of plays, they throw it over the top, and, you know, he's there, or we're in the pick and roll, and I, you know, step up on the guard, and now they got him in the pocket. Now he's going against a smaller guy. And sometimes he just got downhill and attacked me a couple times and got to the basket. You know, but we kind of switched it up in the third quarter where, just trying to be a little bit more physical, and it slowed him down. And then, like I said, he made a couple more jumpers, and then he got, when we went zone, when they put him in the middle, where he's closer to the basket, and now you're scrambling because they start overloading one side. So they did a good job of trying to figuring out that zone. But he's a hell of a player. And a lot of his shots was in the paint, but most of them, he hit some big time shots to kind of keep us honest.
Hi. The Bucks put 24 free throws. Giannis took 11 by himself. You guys had 12 and
Mm-hmm.
you had 9.
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised by that disparity?
Well, every game we put on the board, we need to get to the line more. Part of it is, we're not getting our foul calls. I think the one on the break, I think Giannis clearly fouled me.
Is that what you
Yeah. And then part of it is, us as a team just attacking the basket. I mean, we are attacking. Russ is attacking every night. I'm in there attacking, Malik, Taylor. It's the thing that we just got to adjust to. Just go in and try to finish instead of, trying to get the call. Obviously, we're not getting them. So, something that just we gotta as a team adjust to. But, we just feel like if we get to the line, kind of put us in the rhythm. But also, kind of give us a chance to set our defense.
Taylor's obviously been great for you these 3 games. They're able to get the basket and score. That it's going to look different when they're over on his back. What does Taylor show you in these 3 games here that he can take forward, kind of regardless of you and what is for?
Yeah, no matter his role, whether he starts or come off the bench, we need his energy, the way he's been playing. He has to keep that same mindset. And he comes in, he's shooting the ball well. He's making the right reads. He's doing great things for us defensively. But we don't want, that to kind of slow down or kind of fade away when, we get guys back. Or his role changes, so we got to make sure that we stay on him to keep to continue to be locked in. But he's looked great for us, and he's been helping us big time. At the point guard position, attacking the gaps, getting downhill, finishing, making the reads, kicking out to our shooters. Defensively poking at the ball. So he's been big. He's been big for us. And I think this is only his 2nd game back, the 3rd game. So he's doing all this, and he's still, is getting in game shape and getting in the rhythm. So it's gonna be good for us.
Last year, BT, you guys are 8-8. Is it possible to try to figure out what kind of team you guys are right now? So many guys out.
Yes and no. We put a team together, and we haven't seen it yet. TA hasn't played, K9 hasn't played, Bron has played limited, Taylor's just coming back. So Malik didn't play to start, he's getting back, so it's a lot. It's kind of like the same thing last year, but it's a part of the game. Same thing with the team we just played. They even hit with injuries as well. And it just kind of goes with the league. It's the business of the game. You go out there and put your body on the line every night. Some, God forbid, but some, is bound to happen, where in the course of a season somebody's going to get hurt. And we got to adjust. And, we just got to continue to fight. I mean, that's until we get everybody back. But we still have, ability. We still have guys who's able to win basketball games for us. So we played a pretty good game tonight. We didn't make some shots towards the end, but once we get everybody back, then we can kind of see. To be honest.
This week, we discussed the upcoming return of LBJ, and is it too soon to evaluate the team? The episode is now live on our Spectrum News app. Just download the app on the Apple or Google store if you haven't already, or find it wherever you get your other favorite podcasts. It's the Lake Show Podcast. And now it's the Carl's Camp moment of the game. Craftiness. THT around the rim there, big game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that he does best. Very patient, deliberate, getting to the cup, long strides, and then reaching out with that wingspan and finishing. He's pretty good at it.
Very well done by him. The Lakers fall to 1-3 on the road. A few minutes ago, Frank Vogel spoke with the media.
Frank, AD was talking about the challenge that you have with the small lineup where you get pulled out in the screen roll. You're smaller without LeBron and with Trevor, but it's still providing a lot of space on the other end. Did you see that play out tonight and that would be a difference maker?
No, I don't think that was a big difference maker. You know, I think that only happened a handful of possessions. Our defense, you know, when we have the small lineup is, you know, less double teams on the ball, you know, and more keeping him inside. There were some switching situations late in the game. You know, I think once where they threw it to Giannis late, but I don't think overall that was a factor. And, you know, I do think we're really benefiting from the offensive space. We got a ton of great looks at the three-point line. I think Russell Westbrook had his best game as a Laker tonight with 15 assists and 3 turnovers. 15 and 3 turnovers. And, you know, clearly he's benefiting from that space, and AD is as well. They're just double teaming him, and he's been making the right play. So, you know, a lot of positives. You know, disappointed that we didn't pull it out. Disappointed in you know, some of the calls we got, but that's to be expected down the stretch. You know, Anthony Davis getting 0 free throw attempts is something that's a little bit mind-boggling, and you know, we'll continue to communicate with the league on that. But overall, a lot of positives.
With the zone defense, Frank, just wondered how much you had time to work on that and how effective it seemed to be.
Yeah, we've been trying to build it in, you know, to everything we do. You know, side out of bounds situations, just in small doses, even when, you know, that team is not a team that we necessarily want to zone, just so we can work on it. You know what I mean, and build that part of our defensive arsenal. And you know, when a guy like Giannis is going like he was going tonight, to change things up, I think slowed them down, and you know, something we'll continue to have in our package.
Frank, I know it's not as straightforward as just stellar play, but do you think THT is made the case to be a starter when LeBron comes back?
Yes, short answer.
Maybe it is a straight play.
Yes. Now that's not to say that, you know, when Bron comes back or we're whole. You know, I haven't made any decisions about what that's, you know, ultimately going to look like, because sometimes, you know, scoring off the bench is what you need. But, you know, he's playing, you know, as good as anybody from a standpoint of both sides of the ball. You know, what he's given to us on defense and what he's given to us on offense. So, you know, he's been terrific in his first few games back, and, you know, he'll have a big role, but definitely has made a case.
Right. There was a report yesterday about the growing optimism of LeBron Friday. What is your level of optimism?
I was hoping he's going to play each of the last 7 games or whatever it's been since he's been out. I always hope he's going to play. I'm always optimistic. He's still day-to-day. You know, no decision's been made.
Is there a plan for him to test things out tomorrow or Friday? And what does that look like? And what benchmark does he need to hit, whether it's Friday or down the road?
Yeah, I leave that to the medical team. I know he did some work today. I haven't gotten any reports on how that went yet. You know, but, you know, I'll leave that between him and the medical team to make those decisions as to when he's ready to go. Well, you label clips in the portal every game, and then when there's a huge discrepancy like we saw tonight, with them shooting 12 free throws in the fourth quarter, and Anthony Davis getting flagrant fouled on a dunk on one play, and having 0 free throw attempts for the game, it's just frustrating. So, we communicate with the director of officiating.